Hello, I am Chris. Welcome to my basement gym for a little stretch and relax. I'm wearing comfy clothes today. It's a chilly day out there, so I'm going to stay a little warm. And again, with every class, you can dress as comfortably as you like. Stretchy pants, shoes, or bare feet. Today I'm going to keep my shoes on. I just feel a little chilly. It's just one of those days. So, what we're going to use today is a block and a strap. I've got my mat for the floor. And let's go ahead and get started, okay? Again, if you don't have a block or a strap, you always can grab a pillow, you can grab a belt, you can grab a towel. All those tools can help you when we do some more stretching. Again, they're not required. We can always work around them, okay? So let's start with our breathing. Let's put our feet just right underneath our hips, comfortable distance apart. Let the toes point forward and gently rocking back and forth. Again, this is just a body weight shift. I'm not lifting my heels or lifting my toes. It's just a gentle little shift heavier in the toes, and then a gentler shift heavier in our heels. Try to find that balance of where we're a little bit heavier in the toe, a little bit heavier in our heels, and pause right there. Good. Our big toes are Velcroed down, pinky toe is touching. They're firmly engaged, but just our weight is a little bit more in our heels. Now take that and let your weight get a little heavier in one leg, and then a little heavier in the other leg. Just let your body weight shift side to side. Find that center where the weight is equal in both legs. So now we have our weight a little heavier in our heels, more centered, not right over left. Now let's lift our arches up. Lifting our kneecaps up, let's tuck our tailbones under. That takes the seam of our pants forward just a little bit more. Belly muscles are gently engaged. We aren't flaring our ribs, but our ribs are stitched a little closer towards our hips. As our sternum lifts up towards our nose, we kind of feel this sort of separation right through here. Right through the rib cage as we lift the sternum up and stitch the ribs down. Basically what I would like to do is just take my shoulders from here with the sternum down to here. And it's just a subtle roll of the shoulders back and pulling the shoulder blade down. We're broadening through our collarbones. So instead of the back being nice and wide and collapsed, we're shortening the distance between our shoulder blades and broadening the distance within our collarbone. Let's push the chin forward and pull the chin back. So let that chin come forward and pull it back. One more time forward, and then pull it back, and then relax it just a little bit, allowing our ears to settle over our shoulders. So we're kind of correcting that posture of this all day with our head protruding past our sternums, our shoulders rounded, sloped. We got that little hump right there. Correcting from the floor up and becoming in a much more natural posture, something that is a little bit more balanced from the frontal plane to our rear, and giving the spine that equal weight front and back. The spine actually likes that, distributes the load. Our head is awful heavy, and if we have it tipped forward, it just puts a little strain on that neck. So find that nice, comfy, neutral position. And once we find it, Let's focus on our breathing as we inhale fully through our nose and exhale through our nose. Feel the belly raise and expand as we breathe. And exhale fully. Let the heat of the breath build within our core. I have my hands on my belly just to get that mind-muscle connection. To remind myself that I don't want to breathe up here. I want to breathe down here. Feel free to do that if that feels right for you. Maybe having your hands by your side works better for you. Maybe you have that connection, and that's wonderful. Feel the calmness start to take over. Just focus on the breathing. Bringing a little calmness to our day. Pushing out all those external thoughts. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Good. Bringing it up through the middle, elbows close. As we get towards our head, open like a book, and casting our book out. Again. And open. Three more times. 2. And 1. Good. Stepping our feet comfortably apart, toes turned out as we do sunflower squats. Remembering that we want to lead with pressing our hips back. Knees gently pressing out towards our pinky toes, not letting them cave in. Heavier in our heels, toes are light. Increasing the blood flow, getting the body warm, getting it ready for a wonderful stretch. Let's do 4 more. Lift up. Where's 3? 2 more times. Last one. Stay tall right here. 5-pointed star. Tucking our tailbone under. Going into moonflower squats. As we pull the elbows down towards our ribs and lift. Squeezing our shoulder blades together. Try not to flare the ribs to do this. Stitch the rib to the hip. Tailbone is tucked under. Knees gently pressing out to our pinky toes. Let's do 3 more. There's 2. 1 more time. 5-pointed star. Let's pull the shoulders down. Pull the arm bones down into the shoulders. So bring our arms to a T. And lower all the way down. Toe heel in until we feel comfortable. Stepping in. Let's put our weight into our left leg as we take our right leg up and over an imaginary box. Again, this isn't a competition to see how wide I can open that leg. So keep the hips pointed front. Just lift and open and put it down. Let's do 2 more. 1 more time. And changing legs. Finding our balance. If you have trouble with balance, don't worry about it. Go grab a chair, maybe sneak over to the wall. You can accomplish the same thing. This isn't a balance exercise. This is just more about warming up the hip. Opening it up and closing 2 more times. 1 and up. Good. Separate the feet. Let's raise up onto the ball of each foot and down. Slowly raising up onto the ball of each foot and lower. Let's do 3 more. Pausing at the top. There's 2. Whoops. And 1. Good. And then marching on our heels, toes pulled up. Good. Let's take our hands behind our head, elbows here, feet underneath our hips, and just rotate to the right, keeping our belly button pointed forward, stopping when we feel that resistance where we want to turn our hips. So belly button stays here. Pause right here, and now pretend like we're going to pour water out from our ear. And lift. And one more time, just a little turn, a baby turn. Keep it from the rib cage up. Pausing and pouring water out from our ear one more time. And just a baby rotation. Push this hip forward, push it towards me. Keep the rotation up in our thoracic spine. Pausing here. And one more time, pouring water out. And lift. And if we can turn just a smidgen more, again, try to keep the hips from rotating. And now, arms out like a letter T. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. And rotate to front. Let's do the same thing, other side. Hands behind our head. Remember, soften up those knees and hips stay forward, okay? And just slowly rotate. Make this about wringing out the spine. Pausing when we feel that tension, where we want to start rotating into our lower back. Keep it from the rib cage up. Belly button stays forward. Pausing when we feel that tension. And now again, pretend like we're pouring water out of our ear. And lift and rotate a little more. Maybe it's a small rotation, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. This is not about how far can I crank my whole arm around. Pausing when we got that tension, and again, pouring water out. And lift. One more time. Pause. Right there. And pour. Can we do one more tiny, tiny rotation? Again, where are my hips? Where's my belly? And now extending our arms out to a letter T, squeezing those shoulder blades together. And come back. Good. Big inhale. Hinging at our hip joints. That's forward fold. Releasing our hands to the tops of our shins. And rounding up one vertebrae at a time. Lifting our chin last. Again. Big inhale, open, and then hinging at our hips. Let the hands come to the tops of our shins, not on our knees. We don't want to put pressure on our knees. Good. And now pull the belly button up, rounding up one belly button, or one belly button. We only got one belly button, one vertebrae at a time. Now let's do that one more time. And forward fold. Again. Rounding up one vertebrae at a time. And lifting that chin last. Good. Let's grab our straps, okay? Working on our shoulder mobility, all right? So let's take our straps. Grabbing nice and wide. Again, this is kind of that ideal thought. One hand at noon, the other hand at 3 o'clock. That's a great distance. And then bring it back. Let's bring the strap to the crown of our head and lowering back down. Again, our action is to take the shoulder and just roll it back and pull it down. Our arm bone is secure within the shoulder joint. It's not extended upward. When we get to here, this is where we want to squeeze our shoulder blades together. Good. Let's do one more just to the crown of our head. And if this feels really good, you're good and worn, we're going to go full rotation. So from here, crown of the head, and all the way around. If this is a trouble for you, work your hands down the strap a little bit. Give yourself a little room for mobility. The one thing I don't want us to do is do this and then flare the ribs, kind of crank it through. We want to keep the ribs stitched to the hip. Two more times. Give those shoulders that well-earned love they need. One more time. Hopefully that feels wonderful for you. Let's go ahead and lay our straps down. And come on down to the mat. If you'd like to make a wrinkle in it, if you're on a hard floor like I am, you can. I kind of doubled mine up, so I have two mats to kind of help protect my knees. So it's whatever works for you. I just want us to come up onto our knees, digging our toes in. And I want to take our hands right behind our backs. If you can lace your fingers together, great, wonderful. If you cannot, sneak that strap in. And always take the strap and grab it with the backs of your hands resting on your tuchus. Feet are tucked under, hips are over the knees. I just want us to think about sliding our hands down the back side and think about lifting the sternum up towards the nose. Try not to make this about the low back where we're just kind of pivoting at our low back. Keep the ribs stitched to the hips. Make it from your rib cage up. And breathe. Let the shoulder blades fall, let the sternum lift to the nose. Belly buttons pulled in. Good. And release. Now if you do have your strap handy, we're going to build onto this. Let's take the strap, lay it underneath us. We're going to grab our strap right here. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to pull on the strap a little bit, okay? So, inhale and exhale, lifting the sternum, walk the hands down the strap. Again, stitch the ribs in. Don't let the ribs flare. Don't do this. Okay, pull the ribs down. Make this more about from your rib cage up. Shoulders out of the ears. Inhale. And exhale, releasing. Wonderful job. Let's come onto the floor here. Wake up our spine and do a little stretching. So, coming on down. Again, same thing. If you need to, make a little wrinkle. Gives a little break to the wrist as we do a little spine work, okay? So, let's take our ribs and shorten the distance to our hip, just like a little crescent towards me, and then back to neutral, and shorten the rib and hip distance. And let's just go side to side. Let your mind's gaze just kind of follow behind. You can imagine what's going on behind you as you tip your ribs towards your hips and bring your hips up towards your ribs. Making a big letter C side to side on our spine. Lifting our belly muscles up. We don't want our bellies to sag. Let's do one more each side. coming into cat-cow. Let's tuck our tailbones under. Push the mat away, separating our shoulder blades and then allowing our head to fall. And just let it hang from our shoulders. And now let's turn our tailbone up to the ceiling. Make a big bowl out of our back. So we drop our chest through the shoulders and let our gaze come forward. Let's reverse this into cat, one vertebrae at a time. As we drop our chin and reversing it to cow as we scoop out, hollowing out our back. Our gaze is forward. 2 more times. Into cat, exhale, breathe, pushing the floor away. And inhale, cow. Good. Relaxing to neutral. Now just make this about our lower back, okay? Let the upper back just hang out. And we're gonna make a little baby cat-cow. So from here, all I want us to do is just tuck your tailbone under really, really well. And now turn your tailbone to the ceiling. And again, tuck and tip up. 4 more times. Tuck and tip up. 3 more. Tuck and tip up. 2 more times. Tuck and tip up. Last time. A little tuck and tip up. Good. Now let's isolate it for our upper body. What I want us to think about doing is sinking our shoulders through and then pressing through the floor and pushing the shoulders away. Watch this. So here's my shoulders in neutral. What I want to do is sink the shoulders, sink the chest. Notice I'm not bending at my elbows. And then push away. Sink the shoulders through. Let the weight and gravity help you pull your chest through your shoulders. And then push away. So we look like this. All right, let's give that a try. Let's sink. Elbows stay straight. And then press away. And again, elbows straight. Keep those elbows straight. Sink the chest nice and easy, nice and slow. And press away. What helps me is I think about the bones in my arms kind of screwing outward like this as I'm sinking. And then as I press away, they sort of screw inwards. Okay? So as we sink, screw the arms out. Okay? Give that thought a try, see if that helps you. And press. One more time. Sink. And press. Let's take that wrinkle out of our mats. If we have our pillows, have our blocks handy, let's come into an extended child pose. Feel free to use that block, use that pillow underneath your head as we sit our hips back onto our heels. Arms extended. Let's bring those arms in. You can crisscross them right underneath you. Direct your breath into your back. I want us to feel our back lift and raise as we inhale and fall as we exhale. Inhale and exhale. If we feel tension in our back, feel free to stay here. But if the tension is somewhat released or you're already loose within your lower back, feel free to take the block down or completely away and allow the hands to come down by our sides. Now see, if I do this, my hips are away from my heels. What you can do is take that block right between your hips and your heels. Give it a place to rest. Again, direct your breath into your low back. Feel it expand as you inhale. And falling as we exhale. Let's extend our arms out, nice and long, pushing the mat away, pressing our hips a little further back. Let's take our right arm and just bend it, bringing the forearm parallel with the edge of the mat, keeping the opposite arm extended, pushing the mat away, sinking a little bit into that chest. And changing sides. Extending long, pushing the mat away, and sinking the chest down. Let's extend both arms and let's cat curl up as we come forward to a kneeling plank. And then pushing back into extended child pose. And cat curl up. Coming into that extended, into a kneeling plank. And pressing back. 2 more times. Cat curl up. And press back. 1 last time. Cat curl up. And this time, let's walk our hands back. Good, as we come to kneeling. Let's step 1 leg forward. It doesn't matter which one you do. Actually, it does, I apologize. The leg furthest from me, let's step that leg out. Tailbones tucked under, as we gently come forward into a lunging position. Feeling that blossom of a stretch right here. Let's sweep this arm up like a rainbow, pushing your hip towards me, reaching the hand away from us. Good. Come back center and back down. Let's bring both hands inside of our big toe and allowing this knee to fall away. We're sinking our hip down. If you want, you can lengthen out this leg, deepening the stretch, or walking it in a little bit and even using the block to help you. Just want you to feel wonderful stretch within the hips. Little rocking side to side. Good. Let's walk our hands back. Bring our knee in, and we're going to change sides. So stepping out the leg closest to me, into a lunge. And again, let's make sure we're not sticking our tushy out. We got to tuck our tailbones under, and then slowly coming into this lunge till we feel that blossom of a stretch right in front of our hip. Holding that, okay? It feels absolutely wonderful. You can breathe, you have good tension, it feels wonderful. So let's bring the arm away from us, up, overhead, pushing our hips away from me, and reaching the hand towards me. and hands come inside of our big toe. Again, we have our block handy if we need it. We can always come a little bit deeper into it, allowing the knee to fall away. Or if that's too much, work yourself in and use the block. Biggest goal is just relax into the hip, let the knee fall away from our shoulder. Just a wonderful stretch within our hips. Good. Let's walk our hands back. Let's bring our knee in and just sit on down on our serpents. And grabbing our blocks. Let's extend the legs out, give them a nice shake. If you cannot tell from your view, mine are very fur-covered legs because black is not very much a color we wear in this house unless you don't mind showing off a bunch of dog fur. So let's bring our feet comfortably in. Not super in like we're in cobbler pose. I want us to take them out generously. So we have this big open diamond shape. Let's take our block right by our heels. And I want us to fully relax into this pose. We're just going to round over, draping our body over the openness here. We can rest our forehead on the block, or I will have to stack a couple fists. And I just want to make this as passive as possible. So, just bringing ourselves here, breathing into the tension within our low backs. Just let the breath go and release. When we feel the tension change within our low back, we can take away a fist or maybe bring ourselves all the way to our block. Maybe changing the height of our block so that way we can get a little bit more of a fold. I just want to make sure that we're not suspending our head into space, that it is stacked upon something with support. And this is all passive. It's not being forced by us. It is just gravity and us surrendering to that fold. Let the breath go to the tension within our backs. Let the muscles release. Let the spine elongate and soften. Changing positions once more, once we feel that release. Let's walk our hands up our shins, supporting ourselves as we round up. Set those shoulders back. Let's push our block out of the way, extending our legs out from a fist or either fingertips pointed forward. Shoulders over our hands. Let's press the hands through the floor, opening up through the chest. Tailbone is tucked under, hollow out through the abdominal zone. Try not to push the belly up, scoob out through the belly. Again, remember it's from our rib cage up, opening through the chest. Breathe. Inhale. And exhale, releasing. Let's take our hands behind our knees as we unwind ourselves onto the floor. Extend extending our arms up overhead and extending our feet, thumbs to the floor, stretch, reach, and relax. Let's bring our hands by our sides, palms facing the ceiling, feet comfortably open. If you need to, lift the hips, lift the shoulders, realign the spine. Coming to a final relaxation. As we focus on our breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the nose. I've talked about it before, and if you've tried it, wonderful. But box breathing or square breathing can really help a person with calmness and relaxing, giving yourself a focus. So that way you can kind of unwind or release some stress. So giving that a try, I want us to inhale and slowly count down to 4, or from 4, excuse me. So inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, pausing, and exhale, 3, 2, 1, and pause. Inhale, and pause, and exhale, and pause. Maybe visualize painting that box, paint that stripe up, pausing and paint that stripe across the top of your box. And exhale, paint the downward stroke of that box. And pausing as we close that box up. Start one more time. Inhale. And pause. And exhale. Pause. Good. Let your breathing be free. Let your stress release. Let the facial muscles relax, chest muscles soften. Letting that softness radiate out through our arms and legs, fingertips and toes. And all the tension release. Hopefully you found this a wonderful, relaxing class. We did some stretching. Maybe release some stress within our neck and shoulders, I hope. Otherwise, we are done for our day. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was the polish to the end of your day, or just a wonderful way to start off. And again, remember, we cannot control what goes on around us, but we can control our reaction to it. Take a breath, walk away, and just breathe. Have a good one.